Hi everyone, my name is Kaikun6 and I'm here to do the 6th episode of Playlist Stories. And before I start with this week's episode, yes, I'm in a different room now. Like there's a small room in my home that I've been using to store stuff in here, and it's gotten so ridiculous, honestly. There's just so many boxes, so many craft items. I still have some stuff to get rid of, especially clothes, and I have a lot of clothes. Like right now I have you guys you guys are under a pile of clothes right now, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's so much. Like, I wish you can see the mess in here, but I'm just so embarrassed. It really is, because it's like, wow, you can get this done in like a couple days. Like, yeah, I can, but I've just been lazy. But I've been trying to clean as much as I could anyway, and then balancing writing and cooking and cleaning and all that. So it's kind of like been, you know, it's been reserving a lot of my time on that. So anyway, and also if you hear any background noise, you can ignore it. I have a fan in the kitchen that's kind of like really loud. I can actually hear it from here. And then I have a window right here where I can see my dog, so if you hear her bark, just ignore it. It's just, we have a cat out there too that just been luring away the snakes, because in this time of the year in Texas, snakes gets crazy out here. And for some reason this year we haven't seen any, so we're kind of like, okay, cool, the cat's been doing his job, you know. And of course the dog likes to bark a lot at almost everything, so you know, if you hear her, just ignore it. So let's get started in this week's episode. As you can see as the title, Get the Party Started by Pink. This song had a lot of memories of me growing up also. Like there was just so many attachments and memories and stuff like that to this song, and I just thought, well, there has to be at least one that I can talk about with this song. And ironically, it just so happened to pop up in my playlist the other day, where I mentioned Zach last week, and then all of a sudden this song came up, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I need to talk about this, you know? So I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about it, you know? So as I told you last week, I met like his friends online that eventually became like his local friends, and they started like, you know, hanging out and sort of like living together in a way, even though like they never actually lived together. They just like hung out a lot, and they had sleepovers and stuff like that, so it was kind of cool. So I'm gonna be mentioning 6 out of the 8 individuals that I met through Zach, and these 6 were always together no matter what. Like whenever I was in a group chat with them, they would you know, all 6 of them will be on there, and then they'll just want to talk to me, and I'm like having like 6 different conversations sometimes from these people, or if not, it was just 2, and it was mainly with one guy and one girl. So I was just like, oof, you know, like I wonder what today they're gonna talk about, and it was always something I look forward to every week. So so let me talk about these individuals. So there were 3 girls and 3 gals, like I said, like that. And these 3 guys, their real names, I'm gonna use their real names. It was Nick, Matt, and Jason. I never seen Nick as Nick, okay, you guys, because like I remember for the longest time, his nickname was Rep, and I was like, Rep, like okay, but like I can't see you as a Nick, you know. And all your friends and family and stuff, they always mentioned that, you know, you're a Rep, so I'm just gonna call you by your nickname. And he was like, that's cool, you can call me whatever you want, but like I just don't like my name Nick. And I was just like, oh well, I don't like it either. You're just weird to me anyway. So anyway, and then the other 3 individuals happen to be their, well, at the time, their girlfriends. Now the last time I talked to them, they got married and have kids. So these 3 girls, Chrissy, Rena, and Sabrina, they were kind of like the female versions of these guys. Like literally, like they were kind of like their sometimes they would be polar opposites, and some days sometimes they were just like twins, like their other halves. So it was just like, that is so strange. So Rep was dating Chrissy at the time. Matt was dating I want to say Sabrina. Yeah, Sabrina. And then of course Jason dated Rena. because of the fact that they were both vulgar people, and they always cussed everybody out. They really did. I remember in one of those conversations that I had with them, Rep always started shit. I don't know why. He always started something, and he just wanted to see everybody fight, I guess, or he was just bored. I don't know. But we always had really good conversations, so it was just like maybe he just got bored a lot more quicker than I have. So then he'll start shit, and it'll always be something about, you know, what Matt did or what Jason did. And then eventually Jason will get so mad to the point where he will cuss everybody out, and then I'm just like, that's it, I'm gonna have to log off. And it was a constant thing almost every single day since 2010 to, like, you know, I don't know how, like a couple years after that, maybe until 2013. And or actually no, like maybe 2012, maybe. So it was like 2 years of that constant cycle, and I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna like, it was just funny for the first few times, and now it's just got like a little bit boring. And but the conversation was always held up, you know, and I always enjoy them. So then I want to say, like, after like the constant arguing, I will always log off and then just try to log back in after a few hours. And then when I did, you know, they acted like nothing happened. So I was just like, what the hell just happened here, you know? So whatever. And then so most of the time I will be like talking with Rep, and then I'll be talking with Rena and stuff, because they were like my go-to people whenever I wanted somebody to chat with, or like I wanted to share something that happened in my real life and stuff. So they would try to be like, oh my god, you know, like, just girl, just let me get a cup of coffee, and then I'm just gonna go share my cup. And I was just like, sure, okay, so let's talk about this, and then we'll talk about it. And you know, I always talked shit about, you know, like other people that I know, or like whatever. It was just like one of those things where it was a normal thing for somebody, for me as an 18-year-old at the time, to talk about. And then eventually, like, you know, it shifted from there. Like, conversations just started getting to really personal stuff, you know, kind of like, you know, what was your hobbies, what was your favorite music genres, or this and this and this. And I remember for the longest time, Rep will always tell me about his band, and I was just like, oh, you know, like, you have a band, you know, that's pretty cool, like, what are y'all called? And then he said Scrapeless. We're named Scrapeless. And then they do their music in a studio that they own, or used to own, and it was called Longston. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I remember mentioning these two names a lot when I was like 18 years old, 19 years old. And they were like, oh, we don't know what the fuck that is. And it's like, oh, it's just, you know, you won't get it, you guys. But like, you know, I will explain it to them, but they still won't get it. And I'm like hoping maybe if they see this video, maybe they'll finally understand what I mean. So for the longest time, I would see inside scoops of Longston, and I always mention that name a lot. So it was kind of like really, really funny to see, you know, Rep being Rep, and then of course Matt and Jason being Matt and Jason, and then their girlfriends at the time would, you know, start acting like, you know, crazy, because of the fact that when Rep starts shit, that's when all hell breaks loose. And then I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, what am I witnessing, you know? Like, this is just hilarious, especially for a 19-year-old girl at the time. So then, you know, finally we got to the point where I started listening to the music that they make in there, and their genre was, you know, screamo. And I'm not into screamo, you guys. I tried. I remembered trying for years to get into it because of them, and on top of that, like, I had other friends that introduced me to certain bands that were screamo, and I was like, I couldn't get into it. I've tried. So when I told them that, they for some reason felt discouraged, and I was like, why does my opinion matter? Now, that's because you're like a really close friend to us, and we just, you know, thought that maybe you'll like it like we do. And I said, no, I don't. I do like other genres though. And then they said, we know you like other genres, but, you know, I just thought that maybe you'll like it like we do. And I just said, no, but, you know, my opinion don't matter. Like, you've known these people for so long, and you know that they like it more than I do. So why does the oddball one matter to you? And it's like, I don't know. So anyway, after that, like, I would hear these few songs that they would make, and it was just, yeah, like, it was just alright, you know, like, it was not my cup of tea, you guys. So after that, it was just like, we started talking about life again, and or whenever like Rep wanted to talk to me, and it was always a lot of personal stuff, you know, like he went through a traumatic experience as a child, and most of it was just about his parents and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry about that, like, let's talk about it, you know. And I'll have my cup of tea ready or my cup of coffee ready, and then, you know, I'll talk to him. And it was like one of those things where it was kind of like we were each other's therapists, I guess, even though of course we're not both qualified. I'm not a therapist, you guys, but and most of the time some advice that I have given over the years is like, you know, I shouldn't have given it out, you know, even though it was kind of like the right thing to say or something at the time. But still, especially not for these individuals, they were just batshit crazy anyway, because most of the time they'll fight, and then I'll see it through the videos, and I'm just like, okay, who's the one recording this? And I'm just like looking, you know, in the background, and you just see, you know, these three guys fighting, and then you just see Sabrina sometimes and Chrissy just trying to calm them down, like, you know, like, hey, you guys, you need to just shut the fuck up, you know, we got stuff to do. So I was like, wow, okay. So anyway, after that, they got to know me like through like, you know, other experiences, and I told them about, you know, my dating life and stuff like that at the time, and they just berated me for it for some reason. And I was just like, I don't know why. And it got to the point where it was like constant reminders of my exes from them, and I was just like, I had enough. So I remembered me stop talking to Rep, Matt, and Jason back in 2012 when I met my husband in person, because I remember once I got with him, my life just got busy from there, and I tried to balance, you know, my life and then my friends and my family through all that. So then after that, I just stopped talking to them, and then I started talking to their girlfriends. It was mainly Rena, and then Rena and I will talk about, you know, other stuff, and sort of similar to like what me and Rep would talk about, but it was kind of hard to share a lot of it because of the fact that, you know, I was so used to of having guy friends throughout my whole life. Like, I was like literally that girl, you know, like the tomboy that always made guy friends, and if I ever made any gal friends, it was rare. And also to keep them in my life was honestly even more rare, because most of the time, like, it was like, I could talk about this in a future video if you want, but like, it was mainly like constant jealousy. It was like nothing in common we had. They were just going through some stuff in their life where, I don't know, it just never clicked. And I just thought, you know what, like, I just don't know why. Like, it was kind of one of those moments where, like, how come I had to be the oddball out of this? Like, how come I can never get along with certain, you know, girls or something like that, but yet I got along really well with guys, and that was, you know, thanks to my brother of how I grew up. So for these girls to get along with me, it was just so rare, and especially with what I had to share with them and then what they share with me back. Oh, it was just it was like something really surreal. So after that, I remembered I got busy from there. I think like up until 2017, I officially stopped talking to them because of the point that, you know, we decided like, okay, well, my life is getting way busier now. Like, I'm thinking about going on vacation, and which we did like almost every single year since 2013, I want to say, or 2014. With me and my husband at the time, we will visit, you know, Texas on vacation to go see his family and stuff. And then since then and then on 2016, we decided like, you know what, like maybe we should move to Texas, and which we did. And that took a couple years, but for the planning, it took like since 2017. And I remember me getting the last message from Rena, and Rena was saying that because you know, they got married and have kids now, and I was just like, wow, you know, like, that's a huge change for all of you guys. And it's like, yeah. And not only that, like, all of their jobs started getting like giving them promotions, so, you know, more promotions, more time, so they never have time to do their hobbies anymore. So what they had to do was they sold Longston and they disbanded. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like, that just sucks, because I remember it was like it was kind of like their bread and butter. It was like something that they look forward to every single day, just to perform for, you know, their girlfriends, and especially to me and Zach and then the other two individuals that we will see either in person or online. And I was like, oh, you know, that's just really cool. So I don't know, it felt kind of sad too in a way, and I was just like, well, I just hope, you know, y'all get Longston back sometime in the future, and maybe y'all can perform or something in person. And they're like, no, we're not gonna do it still, because all we did it for was a hobby, and we didn't know if this was gonna actually turn into a job or something. And I was like, oh, well, I can see that. But anyway, and then that was it. Like, I have never talked to them ever again, because like I constantly started ignoring them and stuff, and then I just never had the time to talk to these people, especially with balancing with my life, since I decided that I wanted to move here to Texas. So I just decided just to like stop talking to them. And like, of course I miss them, I really do. Like, I remember the constant conversations I had with them, but you know, maybe it was a phase that I went through back then, especially with like me meeting online friends, I don't know. But the way that I talked to them, I felt like it was a phase, and I just had to get over it. So there you go. And that's the end of the memory, basically. I know for a fact next week I'm gonna be talking about, you know, the next online friend that I made, and then the other online friend will be for another week, and then after that, who knows, we'll see. Because like I still have some other experiences that I have shared online, and I could talk about it almost the entire day about it, because it was mainly a lot of good stuff that came with these people that I met. So I'll just have to talk about it in future videos and stuff. So that would be the end of the episode, you guys. So hopefully you guys have a really good day today, and then hopefully y'all have a good rest of the week. So I'm just gonna go now. All right, bye everyone.